Hey everyone, it's me, Legendary Flaro. Sorry I took another break from videos. It was because, well, had to wait for the school year to be over, which, for those of you who've seen my video why I stopped making videos, or if you know me personally, and if I've talked to you about the whole thing, then you know I just had one of my worst school years ever, so it's been way too hard for me to make videos. But also just because I've been busy lately going to graduation parties, and also I had to get a new phone because the last one, of course, had a dying battery and it was really bad. But at least I was able to get my YouTube channel and everything else back. But anyway, aside from all that, there's kind of a lot I want to talk about in this video. And obviously, because of my channel and the type of video this is, I'm going to be making a new video about my updated thoughts on The Flash Season 8 so far. And now we are officially on graphic novel number 7, which we don't even know what it's going to be called yet. So, have my thoughts changed on the season yet? It's still going in a good direction? Well, now, I think it's safe to assume that the Bloodwork arc will always be the best graphic novel. And here's why. Obviously, the Bloodwork arc was great and had the best villain of the graphic novels, Bloodwork, who also obviously his backstory was that his mother died from HLH and he was starting to die as well and was refusing to accept death while Barry was accepting it in upcoming crisis, and then he was preparing Barry for it, and it was such an amazing rivalry they had. And that's why it worked so well. And then, after that, it's where it gone downhill from there. Because the Mirrorverse arc, obviously, I had a lot of problems with it. Like, for starters, that Goldface episode with Daddy Likes the Metal was so cringy. And, which, it's even worse because it was a cringy line that I obviously kept saying, and then friends of mine were calling me weird for all of that. I don't really want to talk about it right now, though. And then, obviously, of course, it should have been Red Death, but it was a gender-swapped Mirror Master. And then also, like, it focused way too much on Iris, and Barry losing his speed, and feeling so repetitive, because we've seen that, like, how many times now? And, yeah, I think you get the point. And don't even get me started on how it ended with Eva getting defeated by the power of love and all that. And then the Forces arc came. We all know how bad that was, of course. And then the Godspeed arc only being 4 episodes because that stupid interlude. And then even that sucked too, kinda. While the Armageddon arc was easily the best since the Bloodwork arc, in my opinion at least. And I think we can all agree that just this season as a whole was way better than last season. And also that Despero is a great villain, and the only problem I really have with it was Reverse Flash somewhat overshadowing him. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand he wasn't the main villain of the Armageddon arc because that was Despero, but that's like nearly the same problem season 5 had, when obviously he was behind Cicada. And, well, it just felt so forced that Barry and Team Flash had to keep Thawne alive just because that's what heroes do and all of that, when literally Joe was the one who was shooting at Harry back in season 2 because he thought that he was Thawne. That's just me being nitpicky, though. But other than that, this season hasn't really had that many bad episodes. Just Goldface one, didn't care for, it was weird. But then we got the Deathstorm arc, which I have no problem with at all. But then we got back to a 3-episode long interlude, which now it's where I'm not sure if I am still going to call this season great at the end. So far it is great, but definitely not as good as the first 3 seasons. But basically, I understand, like, the first episode of Interlude 3 was, like, the epilogue for the Deathstorm arc because, well, Frost's funeral. And the next one being the Still Force episode, which was kind of good. I like Force-related storylines, but didn't give me too much bad memories of Season 7, of course. And then that one where Barry was having joint problems like an old man was so hard for me to watch, and the idea that we all thought Caitlin was going to be the villain just felt like it came out of nowhere. And on top of that, well, turned out to be another filler episode, which I literally thought it was the start of a new graphic novel. See, this is what I talked about earlier, that these writers need to make sure that whoever the villain of this arc was going to be had just as much development as Despero, and not make the same mistake as Godspeed. And I said Despero, not Deathstorm, because Deathstorm had 6 episodes, which is enough for a season, because, well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and shows like that had 6 episodes. But, okay, now let's move on to this arc before I have too much nostalgia going on here. This latest episode was not that good, and I know it was actually the start of the new graphic novel, I'll give it that, but it felt like another filler episode because it focused way too much on Allegra, and the only parts that intrigued me were the speedster stuff between Barry and Thawne, where, obviously, well, and then Mina Darwin is an important character from the comics, and I'm glad she's on the show now. But it's just a shame. I thought these last 2 episodes were going to be good, but I guess not. Also, this arc having 4 episodes is just as much as Godspeed, which I thought that's a wasted opportunity. And I feel like they only brought Reverse Flash, literally the main villain from Season 1, just so that, oh, this villain is not so wasted. I only paused just to give you all a quick minute to think about it, but anyway. So, this new episode does look good. I'm glad to see Matt Letcher back, and we're probably seeing a Reverse Flash origin story. But I hope it is as good as it looks, and that this graphic novel will turn out to be good after all. And don't get me wrong, I do love Reverse Flash, but they should have just saved him for the final season if they were going to have him be the main villain for the second time. And I mean the Flash, not the whole Arrowverse, like Legends of Tomorrow and stuff. But anyway, like, or at least episode 10 being the finale. That's why I wouldn't say he's going to be the main villain for the final season, because, well, kind of like an Arrow season 8 thing. While, my point is, though, that it could have been Red Death. Like, I keep saying that we had so many opportunities, but then we got a gender-swapped Mirror Master, the fucking Speed Force as the villain, and another Deathstorm. Don't get me wrong, Deathstorm's a great villain, even though we did have him in Season 2, and the new Deathstorm, well, again, I loved him, and he was even better than the one we got in Season 2, being Earth 2 Ronnie Raymond. Then, what else? Other things I want to bring up real quick is is there a debate about Superman and Lois being in the Arrowverse or not, when it clearly is. Tyler Hoechlin's Superman, and the same Lois Lane, I don't know the actress's name, but she's literally from Supergirl and on to Superman and Lois. Even multiverse and crisis stuff, even John Diggle appeared in one episode. While also, Reverse Flash being the so-called main antagonist of the show, like, he was only the main villain for one season. But by that logic, am I supposed to make the argument saying that since Savitar was the main villain for one season, he's the main villain of the show and the true main villain? Or Emiko Queen is the main villain of Arrow, even though she was only the villain for one season? See what I'm saying? Like, if someone were to come up to me and ask me who's the main antagonist of The Flash, I would literally list all the big bads. Reverse Flash, Zoom, Savitar, the Thinker, Cicada, Bloodwork, Mirror Monarch, the Speed Force, Godspeed, Despero, Deathstorm, and, well, obviously the villains that we're gonna get in later seasons. And another interesting thing I want to bring up real quick, and this is Arrowverse related, of course, and this was like last year or something when DC Comics Arrowverse made, well, a video YouTuber I watched made a video about ranking the Arrowverse shows, and then literally someone now just replied to me saying that, literally calling me crazy for thinking Arrow and the Flash were the best shows of the Arrowverse. Like, Superman and Lois, don't get me wrong, it's a great show, and I will say Allie Alston is pretty powerful and all that. I will talk more about that when I review Superman and Lois Season 2 after it's over. Anyway, like, literally, Arrow started the Arrowverse. Of course it's gonna be my favorite show and all of that. The Flash, well, it's not really saying much. Like, I have the right to have my own opinion, and, well, it's just one of my favorite shows. Plus, well, sure, it got bad in later seasons, but arguably, this season has saved the show so far. Well, even if it's not great at the end, it's definitely far better than what we've had before. Not like season 7 level or season 4. Definitely placing this above season 6. We'll see how it competes with season 5 in the end, but so far I will edge it over season 5. And maybe season 3 if I have more time to think about this, but anyway, but still though, like, why? It's a sane opinion to say Arrow and The Flash are the best shows in the Arrowverse. Like, come on. As much as I love this show, I can understand if you say that Superman and Lois is better, and if you like it more than Arrow, that's your opinion, but you can't judge me for saying Arrow's the better show. It's literally what started the Arrowverse, and it even got better in later seasons after a couple of them started to go downhill, depending on who you ask, of course. Like, since when did I become the king of unpopular opinions? Have you even met my friend Marvel DC Extinction Wrestlers? Okay, sorry if like half the things I said had nothing to do with this video. I just had to voice my opinion out loud. So let me know what you all thought of this video, and comment everything you thought of what I was saying. And I hope you all like this video. Subscribe if you're new. Comment what video ideas you got for me, etc.